A growing number of people have been ignoring their jury summons. It's a problem even impacting our courtrooms. While some consider jury duty a waste of time, the Juror Project hopes to change that narrative.
I sat down with William Snowden, who's working to not only teach residents about their rights as a juror, but why carrying out their civic duty could lead to more fair verdicts.
John Reed Taylor's first time as a juror was on a case based out of Baton Rouge. Thedrick Edwards was arrested for a series of rapes, kidnappings, and armed robberies in 2006.
I've always understood the fact that you're supposed to be charged or judged by a jury of your peers. And at the time, I think I was about 25 or 26, so closest in age to him, but everyone else on the jury were older, middle-aged white people.
And everyone else voted to convict Edwards. John Reed was the lone dissenting juror and the only black woman in the jury box.
They all were of the assumption that he did it. We're just gonna go ahead and vote guilty so we can get out of here within 30 minutes of us going back there. I feel like it wasn't enough evidence to convict him of those things.
The interaction inside the jury deliberation room left her with a sour taste of the juror experience.
I feel like I was dismissed. They say your voice is supposed to be heard, but I feel like I was silenced.
And John Reed is not alone. Most people think serving on a jury is a waste of time. Just do a quick search on the web. When you type in the words, how to get out of, what will likely pop up next is jury duty.
For whatever reason, sometimes folks will get a summons in the mail and say, hey, I got a summons. Have you gotten out of jury duty? If so, what did you say?
Situations like John Reed's is the reason why Will Snowden started the Juror Project.
Now, when I say diversity of jury panels, I'm not just talking about diversity of race. I'm talking about diversity of experience, diversity of background, diversity of perspective.
He uses classes like this one.
Is when we do not have diverse juries, in every sense of the word, how that might be compromising fairness.
And social media to encourage people to fulfill their civic duty.
Do you know what a public defender does?
To one, change the perspective on jury duty.
Do you remember when Louisiana had non-unanimous jury verdicts?
And two, increase diversity on juries. Diversity in jurors means diversity of thought.
So we talk about increasing diversity of people's ages, perspectives, experience, gender, because the social science research tells us that when you have more diversity, you actually can facilitate and establish more fair juries.
It's a problem that brought Will to New Orleans as a public defender in the first place.
And ultimately came to New Orleans because it is the incarceration capital of the world. Simply put, we're locking up too many black people. And I quickly came to understand that that lack of diversity was contributing to our lack of fairness.
And Will says that lack of fairness can sometimes lead to wrongful convictions and lengthy sentences. In their 2022 annual report, the National Registry of Exonerations again listed Louisiana with one of the highest rate of exonerations per capita in the country, led by Illinois, Michigan, and Texas. In 2012, Orleans Parish and Jefferson Parish were among the top 10 leading in wrongful convictions per capita.
What did you see when you got to the public defender's office?
And I saw the ways in which diversity was being removed from our jury panels. It's a summonsing process. We use voter registration lists and DMV records. And what our research has shown is that when we only use those two lists, we are effectively excluding 35% of people who otherwise would be eligible to sit on juries.
And then there's the voir dire process, the conversations between a lawyer and potential juror. Snowden says he witnessed prosecutors ask questions about situations largely experienced by black people, including having negative interactions with police.
The prosecutors would use the sharing of those bad experiences to kick folks off of the jury.
And finally, there's the mindset of the headache jury duty brings.
When did we get sort of this negative thought process about what jury duty is, about that civic duty that we have?
I wish I knew the answer. So this is where they come and deliberate.
The need for jurors has solicited a call from Judge Robin Pittman, who spoke before City Council about the matter.
Why is this something that you felt you needed to speak out on?
There was a point in time when hundreds of people just weren't responding to their jury summons in a given month, leaving us with less than 50 jurors some months, and we just were not able to go forward on the numerous individuals who wanted a jury trial. And it got to a point where cases were having to be reset because individuals were not showing up.
If you're being held in jail or, with the sheriff's department until your case starts, are they just waiting? Has that happened before?
Oh yes, there are some individuals who may not be financially capable of making their bonds.
Financial capability is also another part of potential jurors' hesitancy to respond to summons. On the Orleans Criminal District Court website, it lists jurors as only being paid $10 per day, and that's only if you're chosen to serve on a jury trial that requires a verdict.
The jurors that were of my same background and characteristics were very concerned about missing days of work, not being able to pay their bills.
Will hopes the call to action will lead to change within the criminal justice system, one that he says has been plagued with injustices.
The Derek Chauvin trial for killing George Floyd as an example, or the 3 individuals who were charged with killing Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia, or the police officer Amber Geiger for killing Botham Jean in Dallas in his own apartment. There's a ton of power in that jury deliberation room, and we shouldn't just be necessarily callously disregarding it, because if we want our system to be working, the criminal legal system to be working, there's an opportunity and role for us to be involved.
And you can learn more about the Juror Project by visiting the website, thejurorproject.org. We'll have a link for you on our website.